Welcome all, this is Arthur the developer. I am going to break down why I think if you can buy a house, you should build one instead. So there's a couple of big major key factors to buying versus building. All you really have to do is assemble a different team rather than just working with an agent and buying a home off on the MLS. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down a $500,000 purchase and show you how you can have lower payments, less of a down payment. Yes, you can include the land and the construction in the loan, and why I think it is better in regards to equity versus starting out from day one. The day you buy your house, you are literally in the water, meaning if you decided to go resell it on the market, you would lose some money. So we're gonna go to my notepad and I'm gonna break down a $500,000 home and what it looks like for a new construction build. So step one, you have the total approval. If you're approved for $500,000, now guys, keep in mind, if you're not approved to buy a home, I can also teach you, and there's a different video where I can show you exactly how you can stack some cash to get enough to have a down payment on your first home. Typically on a $500,000 home, you're at a rough 5% down plus 2% closing costs, so it's total of 7%, which is about $35,000. It may be on the money actually. So 35K down is what you need, right? 35,000 down is to go purchase a home. What kind of home is it going to be? Around 1750 square feet, 3 bed, 2.5 bath. That's what you're going to buy. Okay. Now, the difference is if you're going to go build a house, the rule of thumb for land is about 20%. Construction in our area, plus or minus, is going to be $140 to $160 a square foot. For your case, you're going to say, well, what if I go over budget? What about a builder? All these other things. Keep in mind, I'm not a builder, I'm a developer. So I always hire out a builder. Now, if you're going to go build a house instead and find a lot, you're going to have a lot for 75K. Plus, you're going to have a build of 350,000. Okay. This includes a builder fee, both. And that's going to equal 425. So 425 total cost. Now, you might ask, well, on 425, what is 7%? So 425 times 7%, you are looking at $29,750 for total cost. So $29,750, let's just say 30K down. Okay, 30K down. Yes, they will give you a loan for the land and the construction combined. So you're at 35K, you're at 30K. You're already at an advantage of 5K savings. Okay. But what happens what happens to the mortgage if you're 75K less? If you are $75,000 less, I'm going to move it over. I see that it's blocking it. So can I move this over? No, I can't. I'll scroll up. Okay. You can see it. So if you're 75,000 less, that means you're saving about $400 to $500 a month on your mortgage. So your mortgage payment will be less by $400 to $500. That's your advantage of building, number one. Number two, you're putting $5,000 less down. And number three, I said it costs $75,000 less, so money, you literally have 75 grand of equity. Okay. I have a friend, his name is Mark. What he actually did was he took his $500,000 and instead of building a smaller house for the same exact house he would have bought on the MLS, he built a smaller house, or you could have built a smaller house. He took the approval and said, well, what's the maximum I can build since I'm building for less? What could I actually do? So I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what that looks like. So if you're approved for $500,000, that means approval. You could build a house for $400K, and land is about 20%, which would be a $100K lot. That's a bigger lot than the 75K. And divide this number by, if you're going to do a little bit more custom plus a builder fee, is $200 a square foot, which means you are going to build a house that is 2,000 square feet. This is a 4-bed, 3-bath. Guys, literally 15% higher. You're building a 15% larger home for $500,000. Now, that's $200 a square foot with a builder fee. I know I can do it for less. If you understood and you had a breakdown of exactly what it's going to cost you, you could probably even get it to 2150. The bigger key here is on 2,000 square feet, 500,000, you're going to have a down payment of 35,000, just the same as you going and buying a house on the MLS, okay? But the key here is what? What's your equity? In our market, you will have $100,000 to $150,000 of equity, all because you were able to assemble the right team, which is finding the lot, putting the plans together, design, permits, and hiring a builder to get this done for you. And now here's the other thing. People say, well, I don't know, what if it costs a little more? Okay, let's say it costs 10,000 more. You're telling me instead of 100 grand of equity, you're not happy with 90? You're not happy with 80? You would rather buy a house for 500 grand and be short from day one, meaning negative equity. So this is something that I emphasize. My buddy built one. He actually built it with for 600K. His house is worth 950. So he has 350,000 of equity. I'm always shooting for 100 to 150 because I don't want to oversell or overtell you the idea, but $100,000 of equity is repeatable. It's absolutely possible. I have a student in Indiana that's doing this right now, has 170 grand of equity. My buddy here has 300 grand of equity. My personal house has over 350,000 of equity, and I built it a year and a half ago. The other thing that I didn't mention is that it's not about building, just in general, primary residential, your primary residence, you're allowed to make up to 250,000 tax-free, or you can make up to 500,000 if you're married and filed jointly. So keep that in mind. You can make up to 250,000 tax-free if you live here for 2 years, whether you built or bought it, doesn't matter. But let me ask you, if you bought a house for 500 grand, it's gonna appreciate to 530, 550, maybe 600,000 in 2 years. If you built a house for 500 grand, it's gonna go from 650 to 750. That's how I was able to have $300,000 worth of equity doing this. Now guys, keep this in mind. This is the process. I have a 7-step process on exactly how I do this, and I teach the entire process from start to finish. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this far. If you have watched this far, you are an action taker, you want to learn, and you are hungry to get better. We have an education platform and a mentorship teaching the process from start to finish of how to find a lot, how to underwrite, make sure the numbers make sense and you have at least 6 figures of profit or equity in the deal, plans, design, permits. We literally share over 30 different plan sets for you and how you can lock in the financing and build your first home. If you are interested, text YouTube to 360-216-0323 and enjoy the rest of this video. So now that you understand, you have 2 options. One option, you can lower your payments by $300 to $500 a month and put 5 grand down less. Now you have the second option of upgrading your house for the same price as you buying one on the MLS with the real estate agent and have around 15 to 20% more house and more equity because you're building a larger home. It'll be worth a little bit more money. How does this work? So 500,000, I'm gonna break this down for you guys. You have a $500,000 approval, so loan approval. Maybe you don't need the full amount. We're just gonna go with 500. Now, the way it works is they do a 95% loan to value, LTV or LTC in this case, because it's loan to cost. So loan to value is if you're buying a house on the market. Your value of the home is 500, you have to bring down 5%, so it's loan to value. The reason it's loan to cost is because this is costing you 500,000 to build. So 95% of this number would be 475,000. So the bank is willing to give you $475,000 of money in the form of a loan. Even though, and in this number, you're gonna say, okay, well, what does that include? Well, that includes land and construction, because watch, land is 100K as we mentioned. Construction is 400K. And that equals 500. 500 minus 475 equals 25K down, plus closing costs. So closing costs are typically origination fee. Just as you would buy on the MLS with an agent, you pay an origination fee. You'd pay the closing costs, the title fees, the appraisal. It's all the same process. The only difference is it's gonna take you 3 to 9 months to execute on this, and you're gonna have 100 to 150 grand of total equity. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth going through this process to have over 6 figures of equity? Me personally, and dozens of students that we have done this, and to them, it has been the best decision of their life. And now you can roll over, because if you take this, this game plan, let's say you make 200,000 every time, every 2 years. And so you're waiting the 2-year period. You don't have to. You can build a house and decide you don't want it, sell it, make a profit. Great. But if every 2 years you're waiting for that tax-free up to 500,000 of capital gains, it's going to take you five times. So 5 times, which equals 10 years, because you multiply it by 2, to have $1 million of tax-free profit. Guys, this is literally a life-changing opportunity. I do this, my brother Ruben the Builder does this as well, friends, family, and now students across the nation are executing on this. I encourage you guys, get into the personal house game. We also have a free community where you can connect with other like-minded individuals, 7fig.io, where you can sign up. We have over 3,200 members to date, and it's growing extremely fast to where we have loan officers, builders, agents, wholesalers, and just people looking to get into the game and really interested in what we have to share and teach. And we are not the only ones. There's so many people out here doing this as well. And we have a mobile app out on the App Store. You just type in 7-figure builder. So I just recently shared this with a few of my friends. 7-figure builder. So you just do 7-figure builder, and it'll pop up. And you can download it, make an account, and you'll have access to it. We have tons of free resources. And again, we have that tax-free method of, if you own a personal house for over 2 years, you can make up to $250,000 as a single person, or up to $500,000 profit as a married person. So from the day that you move in, if you sell 24 months later, you can keep all of that in your bank. My personal house I built was a 2563 square foot home. Okay. And I put down $53,500. I lived in it, enjoyed it. It was a beautiful home. I finished it for about $500,000. I was like closer to $450,000. And it went up in value, and I sold it for $750,000. My brother sold his for $750,000. After closing costs and everything else, I had a total net of over $250,000. So can you imagine the $53,000 turned into $250K plus my cash, I walked away with over $300K in 2 years of time. And because I was living there and I was married, I got to keep the entire profit for myself. So guys, again, I want to continue to hone in on this, and I want to continue to push on you on this, because this is extremely important. And the cash on cash, so the money that I made here and the money I invested was literally 500%. Everybody's talking about crypto. Everyone's talking about all this other stuff, or 5X. Can you imagine every 2 years you can make 2.5 times your money? People barely make 20%. I'm talking 2, 3, 500%. Obviously, this is my situation. I am showing what I truly did. I also have students that did 6 figures. So they're doing 2, 3, 400% as well. Keep that in mind. It's extremely powerful and valuable for you guys to understand this. So again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate every one of you. There is a couple key things here. 1, if you're approved to buy a home, don't. Build it. My recommendation is build it. 2, if you're looking to stack some cash, go into our free community as well. We teach people how to stack cash to get to that point of building that house. Well, buying, but now building. And then number 3, take advantage of the 2-year personal tax-free money. $250,000 for a single person, $500,000 if you're married. Now 2, if you built one house and you're like, wow, this is amazing. I love hiring a builder. I love finding a lot. I understand this. Maybe I'm part of your education platform and you guys give me so much resources, so many tools. I'm crushing it. While living in this house, pull a line of credit against it, a HELOC, get that $100,000 to $200,000 out. You pay the interest-only payments and go build another house, duplex, triplex, or fourplex as an investor and hire that builder. That's what we did. We scaled to over 200 homes. It was game over for us. Thank you so much. Share with your friends and family, like, subscribe. I'm so excited to continue to post this kind of content and give you guys as much value as possible from all of the lessons, hardships, and wins that we've had.